based table. Okay, in pressure based table, the pressure will be given in bar. The based upon the pressure, you are going to find out the remaining properties. What are the properties you are going to find out? Like what is the temperature corresponding to pressure? Now, apart from, we are having HF. HF is called as sensible heat. Next, we are having HFG. HFG means what? The latent heat. Okay, sensible and latent heat comes into picture in case of the wet steam. Okay, we studied the dry steam, wet steam, and superheated steam. Okay, so these steams condition you should know. Okay, what is the dry steam? So when X is equals to 1, that is dryness fraction is 1, we are calling it as a dry saturated steam. If X is greater than 1, that is called as superheated steam. Superheated steam means heating the steam at saturation temperature to above the saturation temperature. If the steam is heated at around 120 degrees Celsius, then we are calling it as superheated steam. In case of superheated steam, the steam is heated above the saturation temperature. And in dry steam is the one which is having the no water particles in it. Okay. On the other hand, wet steam is a two-phase mixture consisting of water particles and some portion of the dry steam. Okay, so that is called as wet steam. So when X is less than 1, that is for wet steam, the dryness fraction lies in between 0 and 1, and for dry saturated steam X is exactly 1, and for superheated steam, so the X is greater than 1. So these are the three conditions of the steam we studied. Okay, so in order to solve the numerical problems in vapor power cycle, you should know how to see the steam table, and also you should have the idea of how to see the Mollier diagram. I explained the Mollier diagram in previous class. Okay, I hope you understood to see the steam tables. Okay. Once again, I'll explain the steam table, how to see the steam table. Okay. Okay. First, I'll start with one simple problem. Okay. Okay, you read the first problem. Okay, in a steam power cycle, the steam supply is at 15 bar and dry saturated steam. Okay, the condenser pressure is zero point 0.4 bar. Calculate the Carnot cycle efficiency and Rankine cycle efficiency and neglect the pump work. Okay, so before that, you should able to draw the TS diagram of Rankine cycle. I explained this TS diagram in the previous class in theory classes. Okay, so first draw TS diagram, Rankine cycle. Okay, Rankine cycle, and here they ask Carnot cycle, hence you have to draw both Rankine cycle and a Carnot cycle. First cycle is your Carnot cycle. 1 to 2 is your isentropic expansion. 2 to 3 is heat rejection in the condenser. 3 to 4 is adiabatic compression or isentropic compression, and 4 to 1 is your the heat addition at constant temperature. We are having the two isentropic process in Carnot cycle, and one is the heat addition and one is the heat rejection. This is what simple diagram of Carnot cycle. 1 to 2 is your isentropic expansion, and 2 to 3 is your heat rejection in the condenser. 3 to 4 is your adiabatic compression, and finally 4 to 1 is heat addition. You remember, heat addition and heat rejection takes place at a constant temperature in case of Carnot cycle as well as in case of Rankine cycle. Okay, now you have to draw the Rankine cycle. Rankine cycle, anyhow, the first process is remain same, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3 also remain same. But here, instead of taking this one, you have to exactly touch that point on the saturation curve. Okay, 2 to 3 is your condensation process or your heat rejection in the condenser where temperature decreases, and then 3 to 4 is your the pump work. Okay, as I said, in case of steam power plant, we are having pump instead of compressor, okay, pump work, that is called as pump work, and that is compression work, 3 to 4. Next 4 to 5 is your regeneration work, and then 5 to 1 is your the heat addition at a constant temperature. Okay, now first I am going to find out the Carnot cycle efficiency. Okay, so Carnot cycle efficiency, before that you have to write the given data. In steam power plant cycle, the steam supply is at 15 bar. It means that the P1, the value of P1 is given 15 bar. Okay, and then condenser pressure, that is P2 is given zero point 0.4 bar. You remember condenser pressure is always less than your boiler pressure, because in case of turbine the expansion happens. So as the expansion happens, pressure decreases. So we'll have the higher value in case of boiler, and we are having the lower value in case of condenser. Okay. P1 is 15 bar and P2 is given it as the zero point 0.4 bar. These are the two values given, and the condition of the steam is dry saturated. Dry saturated means X is exactly 1. How to find out the Carnot cycle efficiency? Okay, first you have to write the given data. P1 is 15 bar, P2 is zero point 0.4 bar, and X is 1. Okay, and we know that Carnot cycle efficiency is T1 minus T2 divided by T1, or T1 1 minus T2 by T1. Okay, what is T2? It is your lowest temperature. I can write Carnot cycle efficiency as T1 minus T2 divided by T1, amount of the heat supplied. Okay, net heat supplied divided by heat supplied. Okay, that is T1 minus T2 divided by T1, or we can write 1 minus T2 by T1. Okay, T2 is nothing but what? Lowest temperature, and T1 is highest temperature. Very simple formula. 1 minus TL by TH. Already we studied in Carnot cycle. Just you substitute the value. And one more thing here, temperature. We are not knowing the temperature. Then you have to find out the temperature from the table. Okay. So here once again I am sharing the steam tables. Okay, this is your steam table. Okay, first whatever the table indicates your temperature based table. You can see the first column as temperature, and immediately second column is pressure. Suppose if temperature is 15 degrees Celsius, then pressure of the steam is 0.01074 bar. Okay, and similarly we are having the two tables. Okay, like one is temperature based tables and another one is pressure based tables. I have shared this steam tables in your Google Classroom. Just you refer for the solving problems. Okay, we are having two tables. One is temperature based and second one is pressure based table. Okay, here what you can see on the screen is it is pressure based table. So in the problem they have given what is the pressure of 15 bar. If 15 bar is there, you go to the 15 bar pressure. Okay, in the left column we are having pressure based pressure, and immediately second column is temperature, and third one is specific volume VF, specific volume of steam VG, and these are the things we are going to use in our calculation. Okay, next we are having most important, HF is sensible heat of water. Evaporation, HFG, it is called as the latent heat of evaporation. Next, sum up HF plus HFG gives your HG, that is enthalpy of superheated steam. Similarly, we are having the entropy values also, SF, SFG and SG. SF is specific entropy of water. SFG is specific entropy of evaporation. Specific means it is per kg. Okay, next SG means specific entropy of the steam. Like that we are having, these are the values what we are going to use in our problem. Okay, in the problem they have given suppose 15 bar pressure is there, then you have to find out the property. Scroll down. Okay, where is the 15 bar? 15 bar is here. Okay, so this is the 15 bar. Here we are having 15 bar pressure. Immediately first one we are having temperature corresponding to 15 bar is 198.3. Okay, and next we are having the specific volumes, this one, and this value is most important. 844.6 is the sensible heat of water, HF. Okay, next HFG is latent heat of water, and then finally it is the total heat of the steam. Like that we are having the two tables, one is pressure based table and one is the temperature based table. At 15 bar pressure, temperature is 198.3. like that. Similarly, starting we are having the temperature based table. Okay, suppose if we have to find out the properties at 15 degrees Celsius, in that case you have to refer the temperature based table. Okay, here 15 degrees Celsius and pressure is 0.017 bar. Okay, immediately second column will get temperature and pressure. This is a temperature based table and all the values are in degrees Celsius, and at temperature 15 degrees Celsius the HFG values are given. Like that, suppose depending upon the temperature and pressure you have to find out the values. Okay, so now I'll come with the problem. Okay, can you see the contents on the board? Is this on screen? Can you able to see the contents on the screen? Problem.
You can just see the photo.
You're seeing the photo now? TS diagram? Are you observing?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Now can you see?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll continue that one. Okay, we are discussing with how to find out the thermal efficiency of Carnot cycle and Rankine cycle. Okay, so Carnot cycle, we have to draw the TS diagram like this, and this is the Rankine cycle. Okay, so Carnot cycle efficiency is very simple: 1 minus T2 by T1. That is 1 minus temperature. Temperature is not given. Then using the steam tables, you have to find out temperature. As I said, for corresponding to pressure of 15 bar, you have to refer the steam table immediately. After first column, in the second column we will get the temperature. That is, we are getting it as 198 degree Celsius. You have to convert that temperature in Kelvin. So 198 plus 273, you will get 471 Kelvin. Okay, similarly, we have to find out, they are given two pressure. One is boiler pressure and condenser pressure. Boiler pressure is 15 bar, that is P1. Condenser pressure is 0.2 bar. Okay, at 15 bar pressure, we are getting the temperature from the steam table as 198 degrees Celsius. Like that, you have to refer the once again the pressure base table only, because from the pressure we are going to find out the temperature. At the pressure of 0.4 bar, you remember all the values whatever they are given in the steam table, it is in terms of bar only. Okay, so bar at corresponding to 0.4 bar, we are getting the temperature in the second column. We are getting the temperature as 75.89 degrees Celsius, and the temperature values are in degrees Celsius in steam tables. You have to convert in Kelvin. That is 75.89 plus 273. You are getting 348 Kelvin. Now you have to substitute the values in Carnot cycle efficiency. That is 1 minus TL by TH. TL is your lowest temperature divided by TH is your highest temperature. Lowest temperature is 348.9. This is corresponding to pressure of 0.4 bar. Temperature is 75 degrees Celsius from steam table. Okay, corresponding to pressure of 15 bar, temperature is 471.28 Kelvin. Okay, like that. Similarly, suppose if the temperature is given, you can find out the pressure also, like vice versa. Just you have to refer two tables. One is pressure based and temperature based. Always in the steam tables, first we will get temperature based. After some 4-5 pages, we will get the pressure based table. So here, after substituting, we will get the efficiency of Carnot cycle as 25.96. Already studied in air standard cycle. Now, how to find out the efficiency of your Rankine cycle? Most important. Okay, efficiency of Rankine cycle is given by, okay, what is the net work done here? Once again, you have to remember the standard formula. The efficiency of any cycle is given by net work done divided by heat supplied. Net work done means what? WT minus WP. In this case, pump work is not there. Neglect pump work means you no need to require pump work. Okay, no need to calculate the pump work. Directly you have to calculate WT. So net work done divided by heat supplied. Net work done is WT minus WP. WP is 0 because they are given in the problem neglect pump work. Okay, and WT means what? Here, as I said, in case of Rankine cycle, the work done always you have to express in terms of enthalpy drop. That is here H1 minus H2. H1 is highest value and H2 is the lowest value. So turbine work is given by H1 minus H2. Then how to find out the values of H1 and H2? H1 easily you can find out. H1 is what? It is the condition is dry saturated. That's why we have shown that 0.1 on the exactly saturation line. Okay, from the steam table corresponding to pressure of 15 bar, you can find out the enthalpy, that is H1. But whatever H2 is there, no, it is in wet condition. You see, this 0.2 lies inside the curve. So whatever the condition of steam inside the curve is in wet condition. Okay, and whatever the condition of the steam above this curve is where it is superheated condition, and whatever the points exactly lies on the saturation curve is in the dry state, means where x is 1. Okay, neither superheated nor wet. Okay, exactly x equals to 1 means no water particles in suspension. Whatever the region indicates above the critical point is a superheated region. Whatever the region inside the curve indicates your wet region. So H1 directly you are getting from the steam tables corresponding to pressure of 15 bar. Okay, so we are getting the values. Okay, these are the values. So after that you can refer the tables. Okay, so this is the standard formula: net work done divided by heat supplied, WT minus WP divided by QS. Pump work is neglected. Okay, they directly they'll give in the problem. Pump work is negligible as compared to your turbine work. Okay, so if pump work is there, in that case, what is the formula is, you remember, pump work is H4 minus H3. Turbine work is H1 minus H2. In this case, no pump work is required. So you have to neglect. You have to calculate only the turbine work. That is H1 minus H2 divided by QS. What is the heat supplied? You remember the heat supplied during this process. Okay, because we are not considering the 0.5, we are not considering the 0.4 because pump work is not there. So in that case, directly heat supplied, you have to take H1 minus H3. Okay, don't consider 0.4 and 5. If turbine pump work is there, in that case you have to consider H1 minus H4. If pump work is not there, in that case you have to directly take H1 minus of H3. This much of amount heat required for heat supply during the process. So H1 minus H2 divided by H1 minus H3, that is your heat supplied. Okay, so heat addition takes place at constant temperature. We are going to express in terms of enthalpy drop. So you have to take H1 minus H3 if pump work is not there. If pump work is there, heat supplied is given by H1 minus H4. That is a formula you should remember. Okay, so Rankine cycle efficiency is given by net work done divided by heat supplied. Net work done is WT minus WP divided by QS. WP is 0. So formula is WT divided by QS. WT is turbine work. H1 minus H2 divided by QS, heat supplied, is H1 minus H3. If pump work is not there, if pump work is there, you have to take H1 minus H4. Okay, now H1 anyhow you are getting H1 directly from the steam tables, that is 2789.9 kilojoules per kg. Directly we are getting from the steam tables. Okay, similarly SG1 is nothing but your the entropy of the steam, 6.44 kilojoules per kg Kelvin. Okay, and what values we are getting from steam tables? We are referring both steam tables and Mollier diagram in a vapor power cycle. You remember, that's why I explained the problems in steam nozzles also. Same kind of problems here also. Okay, and at point 2, what is point 2? Point 2, the pressure is decreases. At point 1, we are having pressure as 15 bar. At point 2, we are having pressure as 0.2 bar. Now once again you refer the steam tables based upon the pressure corresponding to pressure of 0.2 bar. We are getting the values as HF2. You remember we are having the specific meaning. HF means the sensible heat. HFG means latent heat. Sensible heat means what? To convert 1 kg of water at 0 degrees Celsius and at given pressure to 1 kg of steam which is in wet condition at the saturation temperature. That is called as enthalpy. Okay, that is the sensible heat. And HFG meaning the latent heat. HFG means latent heat, means the amount of the heat required to convert 1 kg of wet steam at saturation temperature to 1 kg of dry steam at the same saturation temperature and at the given pressure. That is HFG. You remember, HF is sensible heat and HFG is latent heat. From the steam table corresponding to pressure of 0.4 bar, we are getting the HF2 value as 317.7, and similarly HFG2, that is your latent heat, as 2319.2, and similarly we are getting the entropy. What values they have given? It is all from steam tables corresponding to pressure of 0.4 bar. Okay, And next, you should remember one formula. I hope you remember that formula you studied in basic thermodynamics. H is HF plus X into HFG. That is total heat or enthalpy of wet steam is given by HF plus X, that is called as dryness fraction into HFG. Okay, same formula we are going to apply here. Okay, because whatever the point 2 is there, no, that is inside the curve, that is a wet steam. So total enthalpy or total heat equals to HF plus X into HFG. HF is sensible heat, X is dryness fraction, into HFG is your latent heat. Okay, so like that you have to write the formula. H2 equals to HF2. HF2 is your 317.7 plus X2. X2 dryness fraction not given in the problem, into HFG2. HFG2 is we are getting from the steam tables. HFG2 is nothing but 2319.2. Here we are having the two unknown things, that is one is H2 and one is X2. Okay, so how to get the X2? What is the dryness fraction inside the curve? Okay, what is the dryness fraction at point 2? Okay, so now once again you have to refer the diagram. Okay, refer TS diagram of Rankine cycle. Here S1 and S2 are same, no change, because it is a constant vertical line. Whatever the entropy at 1 is exactly same at 2, you remember, and 2 to 3 is your isothermal process and 5 to 1 is your isothermal process. So whatever the entropy at point 1 and entropy at point 2 are exactly same. Okay, so how you are writing H2 equals to HF2 plus X into HFG2, like that you can apply the same formula for entropy also. Okay, S2 equals to SF2 plus X2 into SFG2. Okay, instead of H, just you replace that symbol with S. Okay, that is entropy. S2 equals to SF2 plus X2 into SFG2. Instead of H, just you put it as yes. Okay, now what I said, okay, whatever the entropy at a point is similar to entropy at point 1. Once again, corresponding to pressure of 15 bar from the steam tables, find out the entropy at point 1. So entropy at point 1 is given by SG2 is entropy at point 1 is given by 6.4406. Okay, so corresponding to pressure of 15 bar, we are getting the entropy as 6.44, that is from steam tables, and whatever the entropy at 1 is same as that of entropy at 2, because it is a constant vertical line. Okay, so S1 and S2 are same. You have to find out S1 at 15 bar, it is 6.44 from steam tables, and same value you write it as S2. S2 equals to 6.44 kilojoules per kg. Okay, and as I said, how you are applying the formula, S2 equals to S2 plus X2 into SFG2. Okay, S2 is same as that of S1, and SF2 you are getting out from that, you remember. So this one you are going to get it at 0.2 bar, not 15 bar. S2 means the entropy at 0.2. Okay, and SFG2 is also option is there in the steam tables, into plus X2 into SFG2. So once you know this one, you'll get the value of X2. Okay, you remember first aim is to find out the dryness fraction. Okay, once you understand the dryness fraction, then only you can calculate the entropy at 0.2. So S2 is nothing but S1, SF2 is from steam table at pressure of 0.4 bar, X2 is dryness fraction we are going to calculate, SFG2 is once again you are getting this value from the steam tables corresponding to pressure of 0.2 bar. Okay, so after solving this one, we are getting the value as X equals to 0.814, means 80 percentage of dryness fraction, 81.4 percentage of dryness fraction will get in the vapor power cycle. Okay, next here what I wrote in equation number 2 is H2 equals to HF2 plus X2 into HFG2. Okay, anyhow this 317.7 you are getting from steam table, 2319.2 also from steam table, and x2 just now we calculated using entropy formula. Now you have to substitute that entropy in equation number 4. So H2 you are getting it as 317.7 plus 0.814 into 2319.2. After solving, we are getting the entropy as 317 2207.5 you are getting. Okay, so after solving all the equation, first you try to analyze, you have to find out entropy. How to find out entropy means S2 equals to SF2 plus X2 into SFG2. So S2 and S1 are same. Okay, SF2 and SFG2 you are getting from the steam tables. After knowing all this one, you have to calculate X2. So X2 what we are getting it as 0.814. Okay, substituting you'll get the value of H2 as 2207. Okay, now enthalpy you remember. Okay, whatever enthalpy at point 3 okay, is similar to your HFG2. Okay, so you see the diagram. HFG2 is so we got H2 as 2207 and H3 is similar to your HF2. You see the curves here. Okay, H3 and H2 are same. Okay, because here it is in saturated line. Whatever the sensible heat, that is H2 and HF2, HF2 and H3 are same. Okay, but H2 and H3 are not same. Only the HF2. Okay, whatever the 0.3 lies on the saturated curve, it is similar to your sensible heat. So whatever 0.3 you have to take directly HF2. HF2 is sensible heat. So how we are going to find out sensible heat? From the steam tables corresponding to pressure of 0.2 bar. Okay, at 0.2 bar we are having the value of HF2 as here HF2 is 317. So whatever HF2 and H3 are exactly same. Okay, because the H3 lies on saturation curve and sensible heat is HF2 is same as that of H3. So you take the value of H3 and HF2 same, and H2 and H1 are different. Okay, so H3 equals to HF2. Okay, so next, how to find out the efficiency? Okay, here WT minus WP divided by QS. WT is your turbine work, that is H1 minus H2. H1 you are getting from the steam tables at 15 bar, and H2 just now we calculated using the formula, and H3 is same as that of HF2. So you substitute all the values, we'll get H1 is 2789.9 from the steam tables minus 2207, that is H2 from calculated value, and once again H1 is your from the from the steam tables, and here it is H3 is HF2. So after solving, we'll get the efficiency as 23.55%. Just you understand this simple problem, how to find out turbine work, how to find out pump work, how to take the heat supplied. Once you understand this problem, so we can solve any number of the problems. Okay, so the formula is WT minus WP divided by QS. WT is H1 minus H2. WP, remember, H4 minus H3. Okay, divided by heat supplied. So as I said, don't consider this 5 because 5 and 1 are same. So the heat supplied is, you have to take H1 minus H4. If pump work is there, if pump work is not there, you have to take H1 minus H3. That's why understanding of the steam table is most important in vapor power cycles. Okay, so by using the calculation, we are getting the efficiency of Rankine cycle as 23.55%. On the other hand, we are getting the efficiency of Carnot cycle as 25.96. Okay, compare these two values. Obviously the Carnot cycle is the one which gives the highest efficiency, around 26 percentage. It is 23.5 percentage, means how much? 1.5 percentage increase in the efficiency by using Carnot cycle. As I said, Carnot cycle is the ideal cycle and will get the maximum efficiency. That is not possible in practical case. Only it is used as a standard cycle to compare with the other cycle. Here we compared the two cycles, Rankine cycle and Carnot cycle. Rankine cycle is having the lowest efficiency of 23.55 percentage and Carnot cycle is having the efficiency of 25.96 percentage. This is how to solve the Rankine cycle problems. Now I'll solve one more similar problem. Okay, first how to draw the diagram, that is most important in case of Rankine cycle. Here we have not shown that saturation curve. Suppose if saturation curve is not there, no problem, but you have to understand there are 5 points, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, now I explain the problem number 2. Okay, problem number 2, in a Rankine cycle, the steam at inlet to the turbine is saturated at a pressure of 35 bar. You remember boiler pressure is always higher than your condenser pressure, and the exhaust pressure, exhaust is nothing but your condenser pressure. I'll tell once again process. 1 to 2 is your adiabatic expansion. 2 to 3 is your constant temperature heat rejection in the condenser. 3 to 4 is your isentropic expansion in the pump. 4 to 5 is your regeneration in the regenerator, and finally 5 to 1 is your the heat addition at a constant temperature. Okay, and here they have asked to calculate the pump work, okay, turbine work, Rankine cycle efficiency, condenser heat flow, and dryness fraction at the end of expansion. Assume mass flow rate of steam to be 9.5 kg per second. Okay, in the previous problem, so the mass flow rate of the steam is not given, just we assumed it as 1 kilograms. But here the mass flow rate of steam is given 9.5 kg per second. Okay, what are the given data? P1 is 35 bar, P2 is 0.2 bar. Next, these are the 2, and mass flow rate. These are the 3 data given. So based upon 3 data, you are going to find out the efficiency of Rankine cycle. Okay, so and dryness fraction at 0.1, you remember it is always 1, because whatever the steam supplied to the turbine is in dry saturated state only. That's why you have to take X as 1 in case of 0.1, but in case of 0.2, the value of X is less than 1 because the condition of the steam is in wet state. So you have to find out the dryness fraction, okay, at 0.2. At 1 it is always 1 only, and at 2 you have to find out. How you found out in the previous problem, same thing you have to apply. Okay, so once again use the steam table. So you have to find out the values. Okay, first they asked pump work. Pump work means we can use the 2 formula to find out the pump work. So turbine work is H1 minus H2. Pump work is H4 minus H3. Okay, turbine work is H1 minus H2. Pump work is H4 minus H3. And one more formula is there to find out the pump work. Instead of sometimes this one, if boiler pressure and condenser pressure are given, you can use this formula also. So both formula are hold good to find out the pump work. Either you can use H4 minus H3 or V3 into PB minus PC. PB is your boiler pressure and PC is your condenser pressure, and V3 is nothing but the specific volume of the steam. Okay, specific volume of the steam at a 0.2 bar pressure. So using this formula also you can find out the pump work. Otherwise you can find out H4 minus H3, but we are not having any data related to this one. It's very difficult to find out. First you have to find out everything. That's why directly you use the formula V3 into WT minus PB minus PC. PB is boiler pressure and PC is your condenser pressure. Okay, so V3 is the specific volume of the steam at 0.2 bar. Once again, from steam table, refer pressure based table, go to value 0.2 bar. In the second column corresponding to 0.2 bar, you are getting the value of volume as 0.0010. It is there in your steam table. So just you go through the steam table, 0.2 bar pressure, we are getting the volume as 0.001 meter cube per kg. So just you have to substitute that value in above equation. V3 from steam table, we are getting it as 0.001 into PB is your boiler pressure, that is 35 bar, minus condenser pressure is 0.2 bar. Okay, and as I said, you have to express pump work in terms of kilo units, but whatever pressure is there in the bar, that is into 10 to the power of 5, or you can write it as into 10 to the power of 3 into 10 to the power of 2. You can split out and you can express in terms of kilojoules as 3.54. That is V3 from the steam table into 35 minus 0.2, okay, into 10 to the power of 2, that is kilo units. So finally you are getting 3.5 kilojoules per kg, but it is for 1 kg. In the problem they have given mass flow rate of steam is 9.5 kg per second. Whatever the value we got 3.4, it is respect to 1 kg of steam flow. For 9.54 kg of steam, you have to multiply this value with 9.54. Okay, 9.5 into 3.54, you'll get 33.63, and unit is kilowatts. The power is always expressed in kilowatts. It is work done per second. So work done is, it is in terms of kilojoules. Per second is nothing but kilowatt. Whatever answer 3.54 into the steam flow rate, that is 9.5 given in the problem, that gives your 33.63 kilowatts. This is how to find out the pump work. So such kind of thing is not there in the previous problem. Here pump work is V3 into PB minus PC. V3 is from steam table. So after finding out, you are getting the value of pump work as 33.63 kilowatts. Next, you have to find out the turbine work. Turbine work means you have to find out H1 minus H2. Okay, so H1 anyhow you are going to get it from steam tables at 35 bar, and H2 is what you have to remember the formula, HF2 plus X2 into HFG2. Okay, anyhow we'll get the H2 value, HF2 value and HFG2 value from steam tables corresponding to pressure of 0.2 bar. Okay, so H2 equals to HF2 plus X2 into HFG2. HF2 and HFG2, so you have to find out from the steam table corresponding to 0.2 bar, and H1 directly you can get it out because anyhow dryness fraction is 1. So directly you can take the enthalpy of the steam as Hg1 equals to H1. Directly you can take because a state is in dry saturated state. Okay, so here turbine work is H1 minus H2. So corresponding to pressure of 35 bar, you are getting the H1 as Hg. Don't take HF and HFG in case of dry steam because no water particles in suspension. Directly the H1 value and Hg value are same, 2802. Okay, and similarly you can find out the entropy also, and H1 we got it. Then H2 is your HF2. HF2 also we are getting from the steam table as 251.5, HFG2 as 238.54, and how you did in the previous problem, same thing here also you can do it. Okay, whatever the entropy at 0.1 is equals to entropy at 0.2. Okay, what is the entropy at 0.1 from the steam tables corresponding to pressure of 35 bar? You are getting the entropy at 0.1 as 6.1229. So this is what the entropy at 0.1. It is exactly same at 0.2 because it is isentropic or adiabatic expansion. In case of adiabatic process, the entropy remains same. So S1 and S2 are same. So 6.122. How you did in the previous case, same thing. and SF2 is, it is there in the steam tables corresponding to condenser pressure. Don't take boiler pressure because we are finding out at 0.2, and X2 is unknown thing. SFG2 is once again from the steam table corresponding to pressure of 0.2 bar. Okay, so after simplifying this one, we are getting the value of X2 as 0.747. In the previous problem we got X2 as 0.78. Same the formula you are going to apply, same procedure you are going to apply, find out the X2. Once you know X2, you have to find out the value of H2. What is H2? HF2 plus X2 into HFG2. Okay, HF2 and HFG2 you are getting from the steam table, and whatever X2 you are getting from the formula 0.747. So after simplifying, you are getting the H2 as 20. This is HF2 from steam table. X2 what we got from the formula, and you are getting the H2 as 2013.2. Now what is the turbine work? H1 minus H2. H1 minus H2. H1 is nothing but your Hg directly from the steam table. H2 what we calculated now is 2013.2. So 2802 minus 2013.2 is your turbine work, around 788.4 kilojoules. Okay, so how to find out the turbine work? What we got per kg? Once again, you have to multiply by 9.5 steam flow rate. You are getting 7493 kilowatt. And what pump work we got is around only 33. Hence, pump work is always less as compared to your turbine. Turbine work in terms of 7,000, nearly 7,500. And pump work is around 33. Okay, it's far less as compared to turbine work. Hence, in some problems, directly they will neglect the pump work. Suppose if they used to ask the pump work, you have to calculate using the formula. Next, to find out the Rankine efficiency. Okay, what is the Rankine efficiency? Net work done divided by heat supplied. We got turbine work, we got compressor work, but what about heat supplied? Heat supplied is your H1 minus H4. Okay, so H1 we calculated using steam table, and then H3 also it is similar to your HF2. As I said, HF2 and H3 both are same, but how to calculate your H4? Okay, so calculation of H4 is so the pump work is what I said. Pump work is H3 minus H4. Okay, the pump work is H4 minus H3. H3 is nothing but your HF2, but unknown thing is H4. So H4 equals to H4. Okay, H4 equals to H3 plus pump work. Pump work is H4 minus H3, or H4 equals to H4 you have to take towards right hand side. H3 is nothing but your HF2. You remember this is HF2. HF2 and H3 both are same. Okay, here HF2 and H2 are both are same. Okay, HF2 here 251.5 and H3 also same. Okay, so both are same. So 251 plus 3.54, you are getting the value as 255.04. This is how to find out the enthalpy. Okay, then once you know all the values, you have to substitute back in the equation. That is H1 is 788.8 minus pump work is 3.54 divided by H1 is, sorry, this one formula is W net. Okay, sorry. So W net divided by QS. WT is 7,000. Okay. You have to express in kilogram unit. So WT is your 788.8 minus 3.54, whatever you are taking in kilowatts, sorry, in kilogram units, divided by H1 is kilojoules, because here all steam tables value are getting in kilogram. That's why turbine work and pump work don't express in kilowatts. You have to express in kilojoule unit. Okay, 788.8 minus 3.54 divided by H1 is 2802 from steam tables minus 255.04 what we got from here. So after solving we are getting the efficiency of Rankine cycle as 30.8 percentage. And one more part they asked how much amount of the heat rejected in the condenser. Okay, the last part, how much amount of the heat rejected in the condenser is here H2 minus H3. H1 minus H2 your turbine work, H2 minus H3 is your heat rejection in the condenser work, H4 minus H3 your compressor work, and H1 minus H4 your heat addition. Okay, here one more part is that how much amount of the heat rejected in the condenser. That is nothing but your H2 minus H3. Okay, that is your the amount of the heat rejection in the condenser. Already we got the value of H2 and H3 whatever we calculated. H2 is we calculated as 201.2 and H3 is similar to your HF2. Okay, multiply by 9.5, that gives your condenser heat flow. That's why finding out H1, H2, H3 and H4 are most important in Rankine cycle. So using steam tables and using some standard formula. What is standard formula? Enthalpy equals to HF plus X into HFG. Only you have to remember that formula. And turbine work is H1 minus H2. Pump work is H4 minus H3. And then condenser work is H3 minus H2 minus H3. Okay. So this is how to solve the problem. Okay. Tarun. Okay.
Yes, sir.
How to understood how to solve the problem? Okay.
Yes, sir.
How to see the values from the steam tables and how to use the formula, how to take turbine work, condenser work, compressor work. Any doubts you are having? Like,
No, sir, no does.
good. Okay. Like that only you'll get the problems in the examination. Okay. First you have to analyze the Rankine cycle. Okay. 5 points. Next point 1, 2, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and 5 to 1. Okay. Vinay J. Vinay J. So meantime, you have to go through some textbook and try to solve numerical problems on a Rankine cycle. So you have to practice more. Okay. So how to see the steam table, how to see the Mollier diagram, then only. So you'll get more confidence. Okay. By solving more number of problems. Shravan Saluja. So are you understanding all the
Yes, sir.
concepts what I'm explaining? Tell me.
Sir, this
What
exam
are?
syllabus
I'm
is
not
this
able to
time
hear
internals.
clearly. Yeah. Can you repeat? Syllabus, I'll tell
Internal
you. Okay.
syllabus, sir.
So internal syllabus, what can I give? 1.5 model can I give? Okay. Compressor and vapor power cycle, half portion, like theoretical part. Okay. Or only you want compressor? One
One
and a
and a
half
half,
model.
sir.
Okay. Compressor nozzles and this one, half of this one, this vapor power cycles, theoretical part. Okay. Not problematic part. Only you have to understand theoretical part. 1.5 model. And third test, I'll put 1.5 model. Okay.
The third test will be descriptive.
What?
Third test will be descriptive.
That
Means it will not be objective.
it not be. Hope so. Okay, I don't exactly. Okay, I'll intimate you. Okay, but can I put 1.5 model for this second test? 1.5 model.
Yes.
Okay, okay. I hope you understood. Okay,
Yes,
I
sir.
posted this theoretical concept today. I'll post numerical problems also in your Google Classroom. Okay, this vapor power cycle. Just you go through and analyze it. All numerical problems, whatever is there, I'll post all the numerical problems in the Google Classroom today. Okay. Okay. Still, okay. Thanks for for joining the class. Okay.